Hey all, we're going to do a little tutorial on string installation on a Martin LX1 here. Got a nice pack of Elixir 12 to 53. So they come out of the pack organized, thin to thick, or whichever way you want to look at it. But we're going to start with the low E. Unwrap that, pretty easy. Now, I want to pay special attention to this. So I've got maybe a couple or so inches, a few centimeters of string here. I'm going to pop that in there, and I can see the ball end is just starting to catch. I can feel it too, like the ball end is just starting to catch on the bridge plate inside. And now I'm going to put the pin in with the notch facing forward, of course. Push that down and give it a little pull. Now, the thing with the heavier strings is they can bind a lot with the pins and just the basic makeup of the bridge system. Okay, so I'm just going to feel inside there and make sure the ball end is uptight against the bridge plate. Otherwise, what happens is it gets kind of the string itself gets hung up before the ball end catches, and sometimes you've probably experienced this as an acoustic player. The ball end will keep pulling that pin up. You'll see the pin keep rising, or it might even pop out once in a while, and then you go, on a boat to halfway around the world to try to find it. Anyway, if you anticipate these things off the bat, then you can control them. So onto the A string. Now notice these Martin pins, they got a good taper on them. They go down to a pretty fine point. Some bridge pins have a little appeasement at the end, so they're rolled a little bit, or chamfered, which helps the string seat a little easier. So once again, I'm just putting that in. Okay, I'm not distorting anything here. I'm not, wrangling the string, as it were. And push that in. I know it's good. Onto the fourth string. Grab a pin. Pop that in. I can see a little bit of the ball end on the internal there. Give that a tiny little bit of a pull to make sure it's not going anywhere. The other thing is, this is a fairly new instrument, so we're not dealing with issues of wear and tear and stuff like that. As we get into the finer strings, the technique here becomes a little bit more apparent because it's easy to see how things are going. Okay, so pop that in, and I can just feel where it starts to grab, and that's the point I want to put the pin in, and then boom, just like that. It seats itself pretty straightforward. Okay, so I can just see, another indication here is I can just see a little bit of the winding of the string. So that's a great visual cue. Pop the pin in, groove facing forward, of course, and off to the first string, or onto the first string, same thing, and bada boom, bada bing. Push that down, and away you go. Of course, Martins are well-made instruments, so you don't have to deal with a lot of garbage. Okay, but as these instruments, or any instrument, acoustic or whatever, as they wear, you start to develop issues with, sometimes the slot will want to just turn a little bit, like this one. This one wants to go a little bit counterclockwise, so I'm gonna train it to stay forward. This one too. This is a good practice, actually, because once they start to develop a memory of being in the wrong place, then they're hard to get back on track. Keep that in mind. Okay. Anyway, we're good to go. Now notice, no distortions. The strings are all true. They're not like barbed wire or whatever you want to call it, and they're straight and ready to go. Any distortions in the string here you want to try to avoid, because it can create issues with how the string reacts on the instrument. If you have a really sensitive instrument, those bends, those kinks and stuff down here, they're going to give you trouble, guaranteed. Anyway, we're done. I'm going to head to the other end momentarily, and this, as it is, and this, as it is, goes into recycling or the trash, whatever you prefer. Catch you on the flip.